Okay, so on a whole, how do you feel about the existing UI?
Well, compared to what I've seen with you making yours now, I think it's a lot less like dynamic. I think it's quite intrusive on the whole screen as well. I think yours is very like in the very closed in the corners, and I feel especially here when you've got Harry on the phone as well. You've got loads of things coming up, even on like the objectives side as well. It can become basically it's like filling half the screen. The sky here as well being like quite yellow. Everything was kind of molded into one, and I couldn't really see it all too well. So I think at the moment there's not too much that I could say like is bad necessarily, but I'd definitely say there's certain things which could be better. There are some parts as well, like the mini map, for instance, in this part of the game. Like I'm not looking at. There was only one time I looked at the mini map in this bit, which is to find the last person.
Speaking on the minimap, how often do you use it and how useful do you find it? In a third person open world game, do you think it's necessary or do you think it's a good option to have that you can toggle on or off?
I think the option of having it on and off is actually quite good, but as I said before, like the only time I actually used it was just what you saw, where like I was just trying to find the last person because they were it maybe glitched out. I've had that before. Maybe I just generally couldn't find them because they were on a different level or something like that. I mean, you can see now I'm inside; it's gone, and it opens up a lot more. But if I was to really like try and zone in on something, I'd just go on the menu.
What do you think of the health bar?
I think it's helpful when I need it to be helpful, or when I need to use it. So, for instance, if I take damage, then of course I'm going to look to see how much I've got left, or how much I need to gain. I can't say I look at it too much.
How often do you find yourself looking at the like web shooter ammunition section?
Yeah, so I use the web shooters quite a lot. My play style is very much aerial. Typically, if I'm not disarming them first, then I'm usually webbing them up straight away, and then using a finisher or maybe even just fighting them, with hands. So I do look at the web shooters a lot because I'm trying to see how much I've got left.
Okay. In terms of the gadgets and abilities, obviously there's the modifier system. What is your like interaction with that section of the screen?
In my play style, I don't really, let's say, overuse them. So I'm expecting to have them available. So there's only ever times I look at them would be, I don't know, just to see the extent of how much they've replenished. So I wouldn't say it's a lot, but it's definitely a lot more when you get through the game.
And then for the web gadgets as well, obviously given your playstyle, you're very much like hand-to-hand combat. But when you are using those gadgets, what's the interaction like there?
I struggle with the gadgets more so than the abilities because I struggle to see how many I've got left. So there were moments where, let's say, I used an upshot, and I'm like, okay, how much do I have left? Do I have two? Is that three? Or is even that one? The signposting of saying I've got a new gadget shot is very helpful as well. So I know I've
Yeah.
at least got one banker.
Since you're not overly reliant on the gadgets or the abilities, do you think that your playstyle would be affected if the heads-up display was just turned off outright?
No, because I've got the banker of knowing the hand-to-hand combat kind of controls and what to do in certain instances that are just hand-to-hand. And then, as I said, the gadgets and the abilities kind of complement my playstyle. So no, I don't think I would be at a disadvantage if they weren't to be there.
Okay. Now you can take your time answering this, but could you rank the entire heads-up display in order from most important to least important?
I think number one, according to my playstyle, would probably be the web shooters. Number two, I would probably say the abilities. I need to see okay, what do I have available? I would then say the health bar is my next one, especially when you're fighting a boss, for instance. Health is really important with a boss. Then the final one, the gadgets. As I said, I don't use them all too often, and that therefore means I'm expecting them to be available when I do use them. And given that I find it difficult to really understand, okay, how many do I have left? I only use them as a a guide as to whether they're red or they're yellow. I don't really look to see how much I've got left. And then honestly, I think the last one, because it doesn't really affect my combat too much, will be the focus bar. I'm locked into the combat. I am expecting to have a higher focus bar because I don't take too much damage, and also I'm fighting a lot of people in a very short space of time. So I rarely look at it all too much as well.
Maybe if we don't move, it won't see us. Well, that was wishful thinking.